Not everyone gets to say this is who I am on their own terms. In this episode, Silent Fame spotlights 10 rising and rising again names reshaping what queer visibility looks like. From Kit Connor's unwanted outing, to Lukas Gage's refusal to be labeled, to Max Harwood's unapologetic joy. Watch the debate to feel seen and to be proud. Hit subscribe and drop the number of the story that hit you hardest. 1. Kit Connor, the soft boy forced to come out. He was the boy we all wanted to protect. The soft-eyed rugby lad who made the world believe in first love again. When Heartstopper premiered, Kit Connor didn't just play Nick Nelson, he became him. He held teenage confusion with such grace that it felt like memory. But outside the script, the world wasn't kind. The whispers started early. Is he gay? Is he straight? Is he faking it? The fans who claimed to love him turned their curiosity into pressure. Every red carpet glance, every social media post dissected like a crime scene. And then, the tweet. October 2022. Back for a minute, I'm bi, congrats for forcing an 18-year-old to out himself. That wasn't a celebration, it was a wound. Kit wasn't coming out with pride, he was defending himself. And in that moment, the world saw the ugly truth. Even in our so-called progressive era, young queer people are still being cornered, still being consumed. What makes Kit Connor iconic isn't just his talent, it's that he became a symbol of something we don't talk about enough. Queer pressure. The idea that visibility equals obligation, that if you play a queer role, you owe the world your label. That silence is suspicious, but Kit refused to be defined by that one moment. He took back his narrative by stepping away. And when he returned, it wasn't with a brand. It was with boundaries, no tell-alls, no glossy coming-out story. Just craft, intention, and the quiet dignity of a young man figuring himself out in public. Some people still say he wasn't brave, that he should have shouted it. But maybe that's the point. Maybe bravery isn't always loud. Maybe sometimes it's saying, enough. Drop a heart in the comments if you believe queer youth deserve space, not speculation. And tell us, did Kit's journey make you rethink how we treat young stars? 2. Lukas Gage, the wild card who won't be labeled. He walked onto our screens like a dare. Bleached hair, reckless grin, body made for chaos. Lukas Gage doesn't ask for attention. He dares you to look away. From the White Lotus to You to Fargo, his roles drip with a kind of feral charm, unhinged, unboxed, unforgettable. But the real twist? Lukas isn't just breaking rules on screen, he's tearing them down off it. When he was asked in interviews to define his sexuality, he said, "Why does it matter?" When trolls tried to shame him for his relationship with hairstylist Chris Appleton, he posted wedding photos. When people said he should pick a lane, he paved a whole new road. Hollywood has long demanded clarity. Are you gay or straight? Masculine or feminine? Leading man or comic relief? Lukas's answer, yes, all of it, or none of it. He's not here to be your token or your fantasy. He's here to live. And yet, he gets hate for being too much, for being too loud, for not giving people the tidy label they crave. But isn't that the point? That queer identity isn't always digestible? That it can be wild, horny, messy, hilarious, and still valid? Lukas Gage is the kind of star who scares the old system, because he's not waiting for permission. He's already through the door, smoking a joint in a mesh tank top, laughing, and somehow, between all the chaos, he makes space for something deeper. Joy. Drop 2 if you think queerness doesn't owe anyone an explanation, and tell us in the comments. Is Lukas what the future looks like, or just a beautiful disruption? 3. Hunter Doohan, the gay husband who played your Netflix crush? When Netflix's Wednesday took off, everyone was obsessed with Tyler Galpin, the mysterious boy with the soft eyes and secret agenda. But behind the brooding heartthrob, an openly gay man in love with his husband, and that twist, that was the revolution. Hunter Doohan didn't play a gay role. He didn't come out in a cover story. He just was. Out. Married. Working. While millions swooned over his on-screen chemistry with Jenna Ortega, he posted sweet anniversary photos with his real-life partner, Fielder Jewett. That kind of duality? It broke the system. For decades, queer actors were told, "Don't be out, or you'll never be cast as the romantic lead. Don't talk about your real life, or no one will buy the fantasy." But Hunter proved the lie. He didn't play it straight to survive. He played it real, and audiences didn't care. Or maybe they did care, but in the best way. Maybe seeing an openly gay actor in a mainstream, straight-presenting role is exactly the shift we needed. Maybe queerness doesn't disqualify desire. Still, not everyone applauded. Some said he was misleading fans. Others asked why he didn't play queer characters. But Hunter's answer is simple. Why should he have to? Why should gay actors be locked into gay roles? Isn't the point of acting to transform? Hunter Doohan is the proof. Proof that you can be queer and romantic, queer and mainstream, queer and powerful, not in spite of it, because of it. Drop 3 if you ever had to fight for love and career at the same time. And tell us, should more gay actors play straight roles? Or is that a double standard in disguise? 4. Omar Apollo, the queer balladeer who made pain desirable. He didn't scream. He whispered, and somehow we all heard him. Omar Apollo didn't demand your attention. He made you ache for it. A queer Mexican-American boy raised in Indiana, teaching himself guitar off YouTube, recording in a bedroom that doubled as a closet. No publicist, no plan, just feeling. And that feeling? Devastating. His breakout wasn't a scandal, it was a lyric. You really got me aching. And queer boys everywhere felt it like a bruise. In 2022, Ivory dropped, and Evergreen became more than a hit. It was a heartbreak national anthem. He never announced he was gay. He sang it. And we knew. But then came the comments. Too subtle. Say it louder. Stop being cryptic. In a world obsessed with labels and clickbait, Omar dared to be soft, fluid, unclear, and in doing so, he became a threat. Because what's scarier than a queer man who won't package himself? Let's be honest. If Omar were white, would people still question his pride? If he shouted in rainbow sequins, would the industry feel safer? Or is it the mix of brown skin, vulnerability, and power that unnerves them? He's been nominated for Grammys, played Coachella, collaborated with Tyler, the creator. But his biggest flex? He made sadness sexy. He made queer longing a chartable sound. And he did it while staying a mystery. Drop 4 if Omar's pain ever mirrored yours. And answer this. Does queerness need a label? Or can we let it haunt us softly? 5. Leo Woodall, the leading man who queerbaited or liberated. Leo Woodall had everything to become the next straight Hollywood heartthrob. And he threw it into the fire. When he exploded on the White Lotus, viewers couldn't decide what was more dangerous, his smirk or his silence. Because behind the brooding sex appeal was a man playing by rules no one could read. He never said he was gay. He never said he wasn't. What he did was flirt with ambiguity like it was an art form. Lace shirts on red carpets, queer-coded Instagram captions, quoting Sappho between thirst traps, and the internet lost it. Some screamed queerbaiter, others said, finally, a man who doesn't care what you think. But that tension, that friction, that's what made him explode. He let queer audiences project while keeping the door slightly, agonizingly ajar. And here's the real controversy. Is Leo expanding what it means to be masculine and mysterious, or exploiting queerness to build mystique? It's a hard question, because representation matters. But so does freedom. Maybe Leo's playing both sides, or maybe we're demanding clarity from someone still writing his own script. What's certain? He has our attention. Netflix cast him in one day. Directors line up. And the LGBTQ+ community remains divided. Icon or illusion? Drop 5 if Leo's ambiguity thrills or frustrates you. Let's settle this. Does he owe us truth, or are we the ones who need to let go? 6. Joe Locke, the teen idol who chose rage over romance. At first, he was everything we needed. Charlie from Heartstopper, kind, vulnerable, soft, a walking love letter to queer youth. But Joe Locke refused to stay the poster boy for gentle acceptance. Off-screen, he morphed into something far more dangerous. A loud, furious, unapologetic queer voice. At 18, while Hollywood tried to box him in, Joe grabbed the mic and tore the script apart. He dragged politicians on Twitter, protested in the streets, slammed token representation and rainbow capitalism. And for that, he was called too political, too angry, too much. But let's ask, too much for who? The homophobes watching in silence? The fans who only wanted soft queers on screen, but none in real life? Joe isn't here to comfort you. He's here to challenge you. In 2023, he became the youngest openly gay speaker in the Isle of Man's parliament. By 2024, he joined the Marvel Universe, and he still hasn't shut up. His rage is radical, his softness weaponized. And in a world obsessed with packaging queerness as palatable, Joe chose to be loud, complex, human. Drop 6. If Joe gave you permission to stop apologizing. And weigh in, do we still need soft representation? Or is it time for queer stars to make people uncomfortable again? 7. Andrew Matarazzo. The queer flame that burned too quietly for too long. He had the face of a leading man and the heart of a poet. But for too long, Andrew Matarazzo was the kind of beautiful Hollywood pretended not to see. Brazilian-born, Miami-raised, queer as hell and soft in a way that made execs nervous. He made his mark on Teen Wolf, but not as a heartthrob. As a villain, a magnetic, dangerous, closeted archetype the industry knew how to market. Off-screen, Andrew was the opposite. Gentle, articulate, in love with language, not the spotlight. And for years, he played the game. Careful interviews, safe fashion, silence. Because queerness, when it isn't loud or flamboyant, gets ignored. Or worse, erased. But then came the shift. He started writing, directing, showing up in films that weren't safe but honest. He came out with poetry instead of press releases, with roles about queer heartbreak that didn't end in shame. Slowly, he burned his own path into visibility. Now, Andrew's not just an actor. He's an auteur of queer pain, queer joy, queer stillness. And in a world that worships chaos, that's revolutionary. Drop a fire if Quiet Fire changed your life. And tell us, do we give enough space to queer artists who don't perform their identity, but live it in whispers? 8. Charlie Bushnell, the Disney rebel. You didn't see coming Disney's golden boys are supposed to smile, play it straight, and disappear into clean-cut roles. Charlie Bushnell had other plans. At just 20, he quietly became the face of a new kind of leading man. Soft, strange, and unapologetically queer. He broke out as Bobby on Diary of a Future President, a sweet sibling in a wholesome world. But off-screen, Charlie was quietly crafting a rebellion, not with statements, but with eyeliner, with cropped cardigans, with queer-coded selfies and interviews that refused to give simple answers. When he finally confirmed he was queer, it wasn't a spectacle. It was a sigh of relief, because fans already knew. They'd felt it in the vibe, in the softness, in the way he carried his body like a question and a dare. Charlie doesn't yell. He glows. And that kind of power terrifies an industry addicted to certainty. He's not trying to shock. He's trying to exist. And in 2025, that's still radical. Drop a rainbow if you've ever come out by simply living louder. And let's debate. Is Gen Z queerness too vague? Or is it exactly what we've been waiting for? 9. Manu Ríos, the Spanish icon who made androgyny a weapon. Manu Ríos is what happens when beauty becomes dangerous. Spain gave us Almodovar. Now it gives us Manu, actor, model, and the embodiment of gender collapse in Gucci heels. He rose to fame in Élite, but Manu wasn't just another pretty boy in uniform. He used his platform to push boundaries with every outfit, every photo shoot, every half-whispered admission of identity. He doesn't label himself. He just shows up, shimmering and ambiguous, making everyone question what masculinity is supposed to look like. Critics call him style over substance. But those critics aren't watching closely. Because Manu Ríos is doing what many actors wouldn't dare, making beauty political. He's forcing conservative Spain and the rest of us to watch a man be feminine, unbothered, and more powerful because of it. He doesn't need a label. His very existence is a headline. Drop 9 if Manu ever made you feel braver in your body. And be real. Is he the future, or just a fantasy we're not ready to see come true? 10. Max Harwood, the drag prince who made queer joy loud again. In a world full of trauma-baiting queer stories, Max Harwood came crashing through in glitter boots and eyeliner, screaming, "Joy matters too." His breakout role in Everybody's Talking About Jamie wasn't just a performance, it was a manifesto. A young, openly gay actor debuting in a musical about drag bullying and visibility, the old Hollywood system would have told him to tone it down. Max turned it up, and when the credits rolled, he didn't retreat. He doubled down. Since then, Max has made a career out of saying no to shame. He chooses queer stories, queer fashion, queer energy, loud, sparkly, impossible to ignore. And for that, he gets dismissed by some, too flamboyant, too much. But too much is exactly the point. Max isn't trying to blend in. He's here to light things up. Drop 10 if queer joy ever saved you. And answer this, are we finally ready to celebrate flamboyance again? Or are we still policing who gets to shine? Before you go, tell me, which star, 1 to 10, changed how you see a leading man? Do labels help, or do they trap us? Drop your number and your take below. Save this for a brave day, share it with a friend, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Your comments shape our next deep dive and amplify queer voices that deserve the spotlight. Silent Fame returns soon. Stay kind, stay loud, and never apologize for taking up space.